if you've got Spectrum or cable or Netflix or Hulu, there's a preview feature, and you can choose before you commit to the full movie. You can choose to push preview, and that gives you a series of scenes designed specifically to pique your interest, just enough to make you want to push play so you can see how the movie plays out, right? So I was thinking about that as it relates to God. And unlike a movie, I don't care how good the preview seemed. I don't care all the signs or indicators you got that, yeah, this is going to be a good movie. You don't know if it lives up to the hype until you watch it. You don't know how it plays out until you're in it, right? Until it's over. And you don't know if it's going to meet your expectations or if it's going to give you what you hoped it would, or if the experience is going to be what you wanted until it's over. I don't mean to get so deep on a movie, but just work with me, just flow with me as I set this up, okay? So I was thinking about that in terms of God. So if we think about our lives like a movie, right, in the same kind of context, God gives us a preview. Except it's not a preview that we're not. It's a preview into how all this is going to end. How our life is going to wrap up. It's good. The end is good. And it's a promise and a guarantee that if we do our part, he does his part. If we stay in him, if we walk in his way, if we walk in his word, he'll stay in us. We stand in him and he'll stay in us. That's the deal here. Now just bear with me, okay, as I flesh this out a little bit, okay? And so I got to thinking about this situation. When we watch a movie, we don't know how it's going to end, but we've got that same kind of preview from God. He's told us how it's going to end. So here's my question. How many times have you sat through a movie, right, you thought was going to be good, but it's not turning out to be what you expected? It's not good, but you sit there anyway because you've invested, I don't know, half hour, 20 minutes, an hour already, and you don't want to waste the time you've invested. Is that it? My husband does that. I'm like, babe, this movie is trash. It is terrible. And he's like, well, you know, I've already invested all this time. I don't want to walk away now because I'll feel like I've wasted my time. Or how many times have you been sitting in the movie, right, at home or when we could go to the theater, and you're sitting there and I know this movie is not good, but you're afraid, or you think in the moment you walk out, that's when it's going to get good. That's when it's going to take a turn and redeem itself. And if you walk out, you'll miss it. Right? I'm thinking, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that so often we can be more committed to a bad movie than we are to our sovereign creator. How come, if we already know how it's going to end, there's no mystery there, right? He's already told us how it's going to end. We walk with him, he's got us. Why then, what gets in the way? Why can't we just sit and let the scenes play out? Why do we get flustered and frustrated and forgetful of what he said? What gets in the way? And I've been thinking about this because this is like if we boil everything down in walking this life of faith, this is the crux of it. We got a God, he's powerful, he's all-knowing, he loves us, and because of he loves us, he's agreed and promised to walk with us in this life so that we experience the fullness of who he is, which is everything good. So if we agree that that's true, what gets in the way of us fully experiencing that every day? What gets in your way? It's simple but not easy, right? That's at least what we tell ourselves. So I want to work through a couple of scriptures that have been extremely meaningful in my life, and I want to offer them up to you as a way to replay the preview in your mind about who God is and who you are to Him. When you get frustrated, when you get fatigued, when you get forgetful. Good morning, Daphne. So let's walk through these. Because I believe as we walk through these, it's that constant replay of the preview of how God said everything is going to end. You don't know the details of how it's going to work out, but you know the end is going to be good, right? So that angst and that worry and that frustration, we could maybe do without that so much if we continue to focus on the end. Then we would experience more of what He promises at the end as we walk through the journey. Okay, so here are the verses. The first, when we talk about what gets in the way, I think one of the things we is really one of the sort of ideas or reasons or way we allow life to get in the way is that we wonder, given what's going on in my life right now, God, are you telling the truth? Like, did you get it right? Are you sure? And not just, I think we believe, yeah, He's right generally speaking, but is He right in this situation? Is He right for me right now? Like, was He telling the truth? Does that truth apply to my situation in this moment right now, in my marriage, in my situation with my kids, in my money situation? Is that truth applicable to me right now? Here's the verse. I promise in my own name, every word out of my mouth does what it says. Period. I just recently found that verse. That verse is Isaiah 45:23. I promise in my own name, every word out of my mouth does what it says. It's like God is like, I don't know if y'all have mamas who like, they don't, if once they've said something, they don't want you asking them 500 more times the same thing. So it's like God is saying to us, did you not hear what I said? Like I already told you. Every word out of my mouth does what it says. So this is the verse that we can apply to every other verse in the Bible. He's telling the truth. I don't care what's going on. He's telling the truth. He will bring us out. He will deliver us. He will comfort us. He will support us. He will help us withstand. He will help us persevere. We hold on to Him. We follow Him. We listen to Him. He's got us. He's telling the truth. I don't care what you put in front of it. Whatever the situation, whatever the circumstance, whatever the feeling, whatever it seems like, God's truth does not change. Isaiah 45:23. Okay. Another thing that I think gets in the way. We wonder if it will still happen. We wonder, I got fired. Time has passed. We're on the verge of divorce. My bank account looks low. I don't have the resources I thought I would. Things aren't kind of coming together in the way that I saw in my mind. My kids aren't doing how I raised them. I've made mistakes that I don't know that I can recover from. Time has passed. I'm older than I was. I'm not 20 anymore. I'm not 40 anymore. And God is saying, yet I am confident. This is what we get to say. Because remember, we've already established that every word out of His mouth does what it says. So here is Psalms 27:13. Yet I am confident. I will see the goodness of the Lord while I am yet in the land of the living. He gives you a promise, and I believe you've been spoken to. He's spoken to you. He's giving you a whisper. He's giving you a glimpse and sometimes a shout. But it hadn't come true quite yet. It hadn't developed its fullness quite yet. And you're wondering, is it still going to happen? And I'm telling you, yes. Not Deneen. God is saying it. Yet I am confident while I am still here in the land of the living, I'll see God's goodness. Not a little bit, but everything he said. Here's another thing that gets in the way. I think sometimes we can feel over our head. Sometimes, and it could be good. You could be over your head in good stuff. Like all the stuff that you've been asking for is happening. You know, you're doing it. You're in the process. And sometimes it can come at a pace you're like, whoa, I didn't know it was going to take all that. You know, I didn't know it was going to be all that. And you realize real quickly that you're out of your depth, that you can't do this by yourself, that you didn't maybe have everything you need or you thought you needed in place. So whether you feel over your head because you believe it's negative, like you think what else can go wrong, or it's so great that it's overwhelming. Whatever it is, God is saying, here's the verse I want you to keep in mind, Isaiah 43:2. When you go through deep waters, I will be with you. When you go through rivers of difficulty, you will not drown. When you walk through the fire of oppression, when you've got conflict and things seem to be against you, you will not be burned up. You will not be consumed. That lets me know I don't care what seems like the end. I don't care what seems like it can't be overcome. I don't care what seems like it can't be. It's insurmountable. That's what it seems. And you're like, I don't know how I'm going to work that out. I don't know how, what's the idea that's going to be the answer for that? It seems like you don't know in the moment. Wait. Just wait a moment, because he's promised you ain't going to be taken out. You're not going to be taken out. When you get restless, when you get frustrated and you think, look, I've been doing this. You know, I've been doing the right stuff. I've been reading. I've been praying. I've been talking to you, Jesus. I've been following your will. You know, I've been listening. I've been being good. That's what you're saying. And you're restless and you wonder, when am I going to come up? You know, when is this thing going to break? When is the relationship going to come when is the relationship going to evolve? When is my work situation or position? When am I going to be promoted? You know, I've been doing the right stuff. When are my kids going to, you know, act like they know how they've been raised? Whatever the situation, you can inject whatever it is you want into that situation. You're wondering, when is the breakthrough going to happen? Okay, here's the verse to keep in mind. Be content with who you are. Don't put on airs. You got to pretend to be something you're not. Be where you are and be good with that. Why? Because God's strong hand is on you. He's got your life. He knows where you are and he knows where he's leading you. He will promote you at the right time. You can't see what he can see. Trust him. That's 1 Peter 5:6. And finally, if you wonder if what you're doing is going to pay off, you've asked God for something or some things, and you're wondering, is this the right way to go about it? This whole, you know, hanging with trusting God thing. Is this going to pay off? Here's the verse I want you to keep in mind. Yes, I am the vine, you are the branches. Those who remain in me and I in them will produce much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, you may ask anything you want and it will be granted. So God is saying, if you hear my words and you do my words, if you seek me, I stay in you. So that means I govern what you want. I govern what you desire. You can ask anything you want of me. And it would please me. It would please me to provide it for you. But I can't do nothing without you. So if you're not going to do it God's way, what's your alternative? And did that really work? So when you feel frustrated, when you feel fatigued, when you're wondering, when you're wondering, I would just say that. I'm encouraging you to sit through the whole movie. I'm encouraging you not to walk out before the credits. I'm encouraging you to just hang tight. Let the scenes play out. God has already promised how it's going to end. If we do our part, which is to continue to read His Word, continue to pray with Him, ask Him what He wants us to do, and then do it, He will give us the strength and the endurance we need to persist and persevere regardless of situation, regardless of circumstance, regardless of what it seems. It's not easy. Not always easy, right? But He's made it simple for us. Stay with Him, He'll stay in us. And He's already showed us the end. And when we stay in Him and He's in us, we get to experience the promises all along the way. We're not waiting for some big payout. It's His promise in effect all along the way that gives us that strength, that allows us to experience the joy as we go along. Not Deneen saying it. It's what God has said. Let's believe Him today. And when you find it difficult to, whatever amount of time, whatever reason, okay, acknowledge it. And then replay what God has already previewed. And let that encourage you. I'm encouraging you today. I am praying for you today. If anybody has any comments or anything you want to throw out, please do. I will open it up and leave it there and just let you guys, if you've got anything you want to throw out or any questions or anything you want to wrap us up with, please do. I'll give a moment for that. Okay, I'll just take it that everybody is letting it marinate. I hope and I am prayerful that there has been something said that will strike a chord with you in a way that God connects. Again, I've said it before and I will say it again. I said the words. I'm saying the words. He makes the connection. And so it's my prayer that that happens today in your life, in this moment, and as the day goes on, as the week goes on, as the month goes on and the year goes on, and so on, that you're reminded to just replay His preview. Because it is good. And let that encourage you. Blessings today. I hope to see you on Thursday. Good morning, Hugo. I hope to see you on Thursday. 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. Right back here at Facebook, Deneen K. James. We have to learn not to react instinctively. I'm getting comments. Okay, awesome. I hear that the Bible verses are on point, that this is what you needed today, and we have to learn not to react instinctively. Absolutely. And because life happens. This morning I woke up honestly and there was a lot just going on. There was a lot of filler happening in my mind and in my heart this morning. And I really needed to practice what I'm saying to you. And so that's how I knew, all right, this is what you need to share. You know, I have ideas and I ask God just to direct me. Okay, what do I need to share today? And I am grateful that I feel like I'm able to see Him at work. And so I'm just encouraging y'all. I hope that didn't want this to be, like, oh my goodness. But let's get to the crux of what's getting in the way, right? And I hope that those verses will come in handy. You can play this back. And I hope that those verses will come in handy to help you move through the instances and kind of the general themes that come up, that get in our way and cause us to forget what God has already shown us. Okay, and then by doing that, it prevents us from experiencing what He's already promised. It doesn't change. We do. So if we can just stay with Him and kind of stick with Him and stop fluctuating so much, then life can seem more stable, right? And we can experience His grounding. his grounding.